Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Hey, today I wanted to talk to you about some great news that I've received regarding some legislation that's been being pushed for some time now. Last year it kind of fizzled out. This year it got reintroduced, and now it's past some major milestone, and there's still some hurdles that we got to get over. And I'll tell you that this will absolutely be life-changing for many veterans who are seeking VA benefits and VA disability benefits, compensation specifically. And you know, when it comes to this stuff, it almost feels like it's a whole new benefit when these types of things happen for some of these folks. Now, I will tell you that this does not directly affect every single one of us as disabled veterans, but there is a portion of us that are, in my opinion, being wronged through this process of VA disability, and this is the doorway in order to make it happen. I'm going to read you the headline here and see if you can guess what this is about. Lawmakers advance bill to let disabled vets collect full benefits, but hurdles to passage remain. That's the headline. You may have guessed it. It's the Richard Starr Act, the Major Richard Starr Act, and we have passed a milestone here, and I want to bring it to you so you're aware of what's going on. I actually pulled it up in an article that came across my desk, and again, want to share that information with you. If you support this, reach out to your electeds. Tell them. All right, let's get on with it. A key House panel has, for the first time, advanced a bill that would dramatically expand specifically VA benefits for compensation to veterans injured in combat. Okay, in a voice vote Wednesday, the House Armed Services Committee approved the Major Richard Starr Act, which would ensure service members who medically retire before 20 years of service have full access to both military retirement pay and Department of Veterans Affairs disability benefits. This is huge because right now they don't. This bill gets at a big injustice facing many of our veterans, Chairman Mike Rogers said at the Wednesday committee meeting. Right now, veterans with fewer than 20 years of service and a disability rating of less than 50% have their retirement pay reduced by $1 for every dollar of disability pay they get. Now, let me explain that to you for those that don't know. Let's say that you medically retire and you have, let's just say your retirement pays $3,000 a month, to use easy numbers. $3,000 a month. Let's say that you have a disability rating that is $600 per month. You do not get $3,000 from retirement and $600 of disability. What you get is $3,000 from, this is the funky math, $3,000 for retirement minus $600, $2,400 of retirement that is now taxable. It's your taxable amount. And $600 is now not taxable. So you still gross $3,000. So your gross amount did not change. Your net amount, however, does, because now in this example, your $600, I mean, what? It's not getting taxed $40. So now you got an extra $40 in your pocket. When really, you and I know that veteran who's disabled and got medically retired and has a rating that's less than 50% should be getting their $3,000 plus, in this example I gave you, their $600 of tax-free for a gross of $3,600. It makes sense, but it's all screwed up and they don't. So this is to rectify that, the Major Richard Starr Act. So moving on. Right now, veterans, and again, I'm going to just kind of reiterate this. Right now, veterans with fewer than 20 years of service and disability rating of less than 50% have their retirement pay reduced by $1 for every dollar of disability pay they get. Those rules mean an estimated 50,000 retirees are ineligible for concurrent benefits. The average offset was about $1,900 per month in 2022, according to the Congressional Budget Office. The Major Richard Starr Act, which is named after an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran who died in 2021 from cancer he developed after burn pit exposure, would remove those restrictions so that all retirees with combat-related disabilities can collect their full retirement and disability benefits. The bill has been a major priority for veteran service organizations, and Senate Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman John Tester identified it as one of his top priorities this year. The legislation has also garnered broad bipartisan support with 325 co-sponsors in the House and 68 in the Senate. Despite the strong bipartisan support, the bill has in the past struggled to advance, in part over questions about how it would be paid for. Additionally, last year, getting the sweeping toxic exposure bill known as the PACT Act over the finish line took precedence over the Major Richard Starr Act. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated the legislation could cost an estimated $9.75 billion in what's known as mandatory spending over the next decade. Despite Wednesday's breezy passage through the House Armed Services Committee, questions about how to pay for the bill remain, making its path to final passage unclear. Under House rules, increase to mandatory spending must be offset. Although I support this bill, I am disappointed that the committee is being forced to act on it before a pay-for could be found. Moving a bill forward with mandatory spending that isn't fully offset opens the bill up to a point of order against its consideration on the floor, Rogers said. Nevertheless, we will work with the leadership and the VA committee to see if an offset can be found for this bill. Still, supporters cheered that the bill had inched forward. The brave men and women who return from serving our country should be able to receive the benefits promised to them. Rep. Bilirakis said, the lead sponsor of the measure in the House, said that in a statement. After the committee scheduled its vote on the bill, military retirement pay and service-connected disability compensation are two completely different benefits, as we all know. Military retirement and disability compensation, two different things. That's why you don't need to retire to get your disability, and those that are retired can still get disability. It should not be offset. So, moving on, one does not diminish the merits of the other, is how he concludes that. With that, we'll go ahead and conclude it. Wanted to bring you up to date with the Major Richard Starr Act and some progression. Still hurdles, still looking for an offset. Make sure you reach out to your congressional leadership and let them know that you support this and you hope that they can find an offset to take care of our injured retirees. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.